Hi, my name is Marcy Fosio. I'm an attorney in the Oklahoma City area who helps people who have been charged with a crime. So Norman, Moore, Oklahoma City, Edmond, Yukon Mustang, in that general area. So if you or a loved one have been charged with a crime or you think criminal charges are going to be filed, then contact my office and we'll see what we can do to help you. I've found with clients that we have that they have different concerns depending on where they're at in the process. For instance, the concerns that you have at the beginning of the process when charges are just filed are going to be a lot different than the concerns you have when you're coming up for jury trial. So I'm making these videos to help people with questions and concerns that they have at the initial stages, sort of like a 7 things you need to know or 7 questions you might have at the beginning stages when charges are just being filed against you or a loved one. So what I'm going to talk about in this video is what you need to do if you find out that you have a warrant. So criminal charges have been filed against you, there's a warrant outstanding, but you haven't been arrested on that warrant. And there's a lot of different ways that it can come up where you have a warrant. It could be anything from a traffic ticket that you didn't pay to charges have been filed against you. And that's of course the situation that I'm talking about. So sometimes you will get arrested right away. For instance, if you are pulled over and a cop thinks you are drunk, they're going to arrest you right then for DUI. There are other types of situations though where charges might get filed against you and you haven't been arrested yet. So that's the kind of situation where I'm talking about. You've not been arrested, you find out you have a warrant. And what you can do about it. So you could find out about the warrant several different ways. It could be that you see it on the computer. It could be that a friend or a loved one tells you. It could be that you find out the cops are trying to find you to arrest you. Or sometimes a lot of attorneys, then as soon as charges get filed, they will send letters out to the people who've had the charges filed against them to say, hey, I see that these charges have been filed against you. Call my office to see how I can help, things like that. I've had several clients call me and say they didn't even know that charges had been filed against them. They got this letter from some attorney and obviously freaked out. So that happened just a couple weeks ago and made me think this video might be helpful to other people in that situation. So the website that I've got pulled up and you can see here on the screen is oscn.net. It's a public website, so anybody can access it. All the information on here is public record. OSCN.net. It stands for Oklahoma State Court Network. This is one way where you can check and see if you happen to have an outstanding warrant. So if you know your case number, you could just go in and type your case number in. If you didn't know it, you can search by name, but I'm going to show you just an example of what it would look like. So once I've gone to OSCN.net, I'm clicking on court records, and then here on case number lookup, this is where you would enter it if you know the case number. Over here on the left, search OSCN dockets. That is where you could go if you don't know the case number and you want to search by name. So here you pick what county the charges are filed in. So this is for state court. If you have a federal case or a city ticket or a municipal case, it's not going to be on this website. This website is for state court. So I practice primarily in Oklahoma County, which is Oklahoma City, Cleveland County, which is Norman and Moore, and Canadian County, which is Mustang and Yukon. So I'm going to look at Oklahoma County. So selecting Oklahoma County, and then I'm just making up a case number here. I don't know what this case number is. I'm just putting it in. So CF stands for criminal felony, and then it's going to be the year that was filed, so a case that was filed in 2020, and then the cases are just sequential after that. So case number 1, case number 2. So I just picked case number 3000, so that would be the 3000th criminal felony that was filed in Oklahoma County in 2020. And hit go, and that'll show us what it is. So again, I don't know who this is. I do not represent this person, but this is all public record, so I'm not showing you anything secret or confidential. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and show you what I'm talking about with an outstanding warrant. So this guy looks like he probably has an outstanding warrant, and you can see that here in red. That looks like charges were filed on June 30th because it shows you criminal felony initial filing. So that's when the case was filed. This shows you what the charge was. It's a domestic abuse by strangulation. And then in red, shows you that a warrant was issued and the bond amount is $20,000. So this guy has an outstanding warrant. Hopefully he's already contacted an attorney and he's kind of in the process of getting it taken care of. But I want to let you know what you can do if you find out charges have been filed against you or a warrant has been issued. Basically, I always suggest and think that 99.9% of the time, if you have a case filed against you, charges against you, especially if it's a felony, you need an attorney. You might want to try and represent yourself. That's certainly something you can explore. But in my opinion, if you have a felony charged against you, and even a misdemeanor, there are just a lot of complexities and nuances, but I won't go into all that. So I'm going to say the first thing you need to do is call an attorney. At that point, there are a couple of different things that can happen. So the bond amount here is $20,000. You would pretty much have three different options. Number one is your attorney can help you find and locate and coordinate with a bondsman so that you can post the bond. The bondsman would help you and arrange to do a walkthrough. Different courts and jails call it different things, but a walkthrough is basically you make all the arrangements ahead of time with the bondsman, so then you kind of control when you go to the jail to get processed and get the warrant cleared. And in my opinion, of course, going to the jail to get fingerprinted and photographed is going to be awful no matter what, but it's going to be a whole lot better if you can choose to go on a Tuesday afternoon with your bondsman and you know you're going to get in and out versus getting arrested at midnight on a Friday and it's going to take you a lot longer to get out. So that's the benefit of being kind of proactive, contacting an attorney, contacting a bondsman, and arranging a walkthrough. I said there were three options of how you can handle this warrant. So that was the first one, doing a walkthrough with a bondsman. Another one is you can do a cash bond. So if you've got $20,000 or whatever your bond amount is in cash and you want to just post a cash bond, you can do that. It would be kind of the same process though. You're going to post the bond with the court clerk, pay the cash bond, and then go to the jail to do the walkthrough so you're in and out instead of the cops just happen to show up at your work and drag you to the jail. You're controlling when it happens. The third thing, if your bond is really high, sometimes your attorney can help you with a bond reduction or maybe even help you get an OR or PR bond. OR stands for being released on your own recognizance. PR stands for personal recognizance. They're pretty much the same thing, but basically it means you're being released based on your promise to come back to court. You're not putting money up. You're being released based on your promise to come back to court. And those are sometimes granted for people who don't have much history with the criminal system and on relatively minor cases. You're not going to get an OR bond on a serious case. So you could either get an OR or perhaps a bond reduction. The person that I was telling you that contacted me about 2 weeks ago, she actually, this isn't her case, but she also had a bond set at $20,000. She contacted me, I was able to coordinate it and get her bond reduced to $2,000. So that's just from a financial perspective a lot easier to handle, and coordinated her arraignment, her walkthrough, and all that stuff. So basically, if you have an outstanding warrant that you find out either on OSEN, from a friend, from the news, because you get a letter in the mail from an attorney, however you find out about it, if you have an outstanding warrant, I'm going to say you definitely want to take care of it as soon as possible, because if you control and you have an attorney or a bondsman helping you, you control when you take care of it. It's going to be a much smoother, easier, less stressful process than knowing the cops could come get you at any time and pick you up on that warrant. So basically, contact an attorney, contact a bondsman, decide if you want to do a cash bond, decide if you need a bond reduction, things like that, and get the warrant cleared right away. After that, the court process will start, and I'll kind of go into some of those other things that come up in a different video, but that's what you need to do and what you need to know if you have an outstanding warrant. If you have any more questions, feel free to contact my office. I'll put the link to our website down below, and you can shoot us an email or give us a call. Again, my name is Marcy with Fazio Law, and I'm a criminal defense attorney in the Oklahoma City area. If you have an outstanding warrant, give us a call. Talk to you soon.